Alright, hey, what's up, guys? What's up, YouTube? So, I'm not actually going to do much playing today. Just wanted to talk about. A lot of people say to me very often, "Wow, you have so many guitars. Why do you need so many guitars? Why do you have so many guitars?" Um, I have so many guitars because I want so many guitars. That's basically what it is. I have 10 electrics and one acoustic, which is over there, but you can't see it. But 10 electrics, one acoustic. Um, and the reason I have that stuff is I'm in a band, like my band on YouTube, Last Will. We do some cool stuff. Probably put a link in the comments here. But anyway, I'm in a band. I like to take a lot of different guitars to practice, to shows, and quite frankly, different guitars that I just get different things out of them. Even though a lot of them are pretty similar. I really do like alder bodies, maple necks, fingerboards. It's either maple or ebony. I really do like either of those, but rosewood's okay too. I just think maple or ebony look a lot better. So this one, obviously, maple. This is actually a brand new, made in Mexico, Charvel San Dimas JB59. It's awesome. Got it from Sweetwater. Rolled fingerboard, feels fantastic. Anyway, so I'm going to talk a little bit today about how to get a lot of guitars, how to buy a lot of guitars, when to get them, when to look for them, what to do. Um, Honestly, the number one rule is patience. You need to be patient when you want a new guitar or several new guitars, and you need to set patience and set a budget. So here's the thing, and here's how a lot of guitars work. When they first come out, so you figure right around brand new guitars come out usually right after winter NAMM. So that happens around January. So you figure February, March is when all the new guitars are going to hit the stores. If you really like a new guitar, by all means, buy it when it comes out. Sometimes there's limited runs, sometimes stuff like that. And if you really like it, get it. I'm not telling you not to, if you can afford it. But if you what you want to do is to own, say you own one guitar and you've owned the same guitar since you were 17 or 18 years old, and you know you're you're an adult now and you're still playing the same guitar, and you want more guitars, you just don't know how to go about getting them. It always seems like something that's more than what you have on hand, cash wise. Um, so I want to talk a little bit about how to do that, how to get a guitar, how to get the best bang for the buck out of what you want. First thing I'm going to say is, of course, like I said, be patient and do your research. Um, what you're going to want to do is figure out what you want. So I have been kind of jonesing for these Charvel Pro Mods for a long time. I'm a big Jackson player. Obviously, my videos kind of showcase that a little bit. Um, but I've really, really liked the way the Charvels have looked. They look like they play awesome. The necks look awesome, and I've wanted one for a long time, but just never had the opportunity. Other guitars came up, other things came up in life, so I just never got around to it. So anyway, I was browsing the internet for guitars, which is what I usually do, and happened over to Sweetwater Sound, which is a very reputable, awesome dealer. Highly recommend you check out Sweetwater's site. And I was looking, and they had two Charvel Pro Mods in blue that they had in the I guess they call them storefront models, or anyway, they were discounted. Not discounted a lot, about $100, but you figure off of a 750 or 800 dollar guitar, they knocked $100 off of them. So I'm like, ooh, that's awesome. Not only did they knock $100 off of the one or two they had that were showcase models, um, but they were also running a promotion, which I think they're running most of the time, 24 months zero interest on new purchases, and these qualified. So it's like, holy cow, 24 months zero interest. And that's like one of the first things you're going to want to look to do. Say you don't have $1,000 or $800 on hand. First thing you're going to look to do is decide, okay, I can finance this. The guitar is a pretty major purchase, and you wouldn't buy a new car with cash for the most part. If you go in, you're going to buy something new because you want it. You're not going to buy a new car with cash. You're going to lease it. You're going to, finance it or something. And if it's new, you're going to finance it for a good rate because it's new. It's going to retain its value when you finance it. So the 24-month zero interest thing through Sweetwater, and sometimes they even do 36 months, which is incredible. I think right now they might be, but depending on when you're watching this video, obviously. So financed it. So 24 months for ended up being $760. I think they're regularly $849. So $760 for 24 months ends up being about $28 a month. Just to put it into perspective, $28 a month, it won't even buy you 2 World of Warcraft subscriptions. So for less than 2 World of Warcraft subscriptions, I am playing this awesome guitar all the time, really. I mean, I just play the crap out of it. It's awesome. I have actually bought 2. I bought this one and a SoCal because $60 a month isn't that much either, really, if you think about it. So anyway, that's the first thing. If you're going to buy a new guitar, wait for something to come up as a used model, as a floor model, something like that, where they're going to discount the new model a little bit, and then if you don't have the cash on hand, finance it. Not only that, it helps build your credit, and I know a lot of musicians need some help building their credit. I know a lot of guys personally, but anyway, so yeah, that's my first suggestion into the foray of new guitars. The other thing you can do is wait to see what models are going to end up being discounted towards the end of the year. Right now, depending on when you're watching this, it's October. We are a few months out of Winter NAMM, and most likely there will be a whole slew of new models coming out, February-ish. So that means whatever stock is left of the old models that are being discontinued, those guitars are now discontinued, depending on how much the stock is. For example, I know this year Charvel, they're changing the inlays and stuff on their Desolation series. So it's going from the abalone inlays to, I think they're doing the aluminoid now, the same way they're doing with the Jackson Pro Series, that aluminum looking inlay, which is cool. It's great. I'm actually a big fan of the aluminoid inlay versus the abalone. However, if you look now online, they've discontinued some colors, discontinued some models for the Desolation series. So what would have used to have been, I think, $699 or $749 or whatever they ended up being, the soloist with the Floyd model, I believe is now $429, and the non-Floyded one is $399. This is like, I mean, it's like 40% off of what they were brand new, and it's the same guitar. They're brand new. Nobody's ever touched them. They've been successful for Charvel for the last couple of years, but because they're changing the inlays, you can get them 40% off. And on top of that, if you can find them through, like, Musician's Friend has the most of them that I've seen, but they've got a lot of that are, like I said, $429 on sale. And I mean, it's a pro quality guitar, EMG pickups, real Floyd Rose. I think it's a rosewood fingerboard, but it's unfinished like these, and neck through body, which is awesome, and it's got that Charvel neck with the rolled edges that just feels, you see me like playing with this one, it just feels incredible. So I mean, something like that you could get for practically nothing, $429, and with Musician's Friend you can still find it and finance it for 18 months, 0% interest, which is like, again, like, maybe $20-25 a month. Really, like, not pocket change, really, especially considering everything you're getting in what you'd be getting in discount. So look for, especially around this time of year, around Christmas time, really October, November is really when it starts. It kind of starts to peter out by Christmas time because a lot of the new models start to get released before Winter NAMM. But look around this time of year, and I've done it in years past, stock up. I have a RR5 FR Those things were, God, I want to say they were $900 brand new. But then they discontinued. Jackson discontinued the production in Japan, and so they had a bunch of these, especially in black. Black, it's pretty easy to get black guitars for not very much money. Um, so they had a ton of the black ones laying around at Musician's Friend, and they blew them out. I think it was a stupid deal of the day one day for $299, and it was like, this is a $900 guitar. It's like, I mean, real honest to God German Floyd Rose, EMG, not EMGs, Seymour Duncan JB Jazz set, or maybe it's the JB 59, and neck through, just phenomenal guitar, built in Japan. I mean, plays great. You'd see it if you look at my band's page. I'm playing it in a lot of the shows. I still play it a lot. Came with a hard case, but stuff like that. If you're patient, and if you look at around this time of year, I mean, you can really stock up on some guitars that like may have been out of your reach beforehand. Like maybe they were $900, and like I can't spend $900 on a guitar. But when it gets to be around this time of year, and it's they discontinue, they knock it down to $300. It's like, well, for $300 I can totally get that, and it's been phenomenal. And this type of stuff happens every year, so I mean it's really great. Guitar technology doesn't change. It's not like you're buying a MacBook this year and then it goes out of date. It's or a cell phone. You're buying a guitar. It's going to be a guitar that's going to basically be the same, forever. Guitar technology hasn't really changed very much since like the 1960s. So keep that in mind when you're looking at this stuff. It's not like it's going to be outdated. It's just, it's discontinued because they're changing an inlay or something. So that's the first little tidbit on how to buy new guitars. I highly recommend buying new guitars because nobody's ever played them. You can set them up the way you want. They're going to be brand new, so they're not going to have issues. You're going to have a 30-day return policy and what have you if you go through reputable dealers. And it's really the best way to go, because used guitars, in my experience, once they become used, they've already shown their value to somebody. Somebody's already paid for it new, and if somebody's already paid for it new, that means somebody's going to be able to sell it, and somebody else is going to pay for it used. So a lot of times the used premium, especially if it's something that was kind of rare when it was out, it's not really going to save you as much money, and you may end up with a guitar with issues that doesn't have any return stuff, so it doesn't have any ability to return it and whatnot. So I would kind of shy away from that. I don't always. I have a few used guitars, but I would stick to the more reputable guitar companies going used rather than maybe taking a shot on something. Unless you have money to burn, of course. If you do, go for it. Spend your money the way you want. But new guitars. And I'm just going to put this down here real quick. And speaking of used guitars, if you do decide to go the used route, something like this, you can certainly do pretty well going used. This is a Jackson Pro Series DK2M. The M is for the maple fingerboard. There is a new version of this out right now, which is essentially pretty much exactly the same. This one's made in Japan. The new ones are made in Mexico, but they're pretty good too. This has the JB Jazz set. The new ones have the JB 59, but and the inlays are different. This has the ebony shark fin inlays, and the new ones just have the side dots. But other than that, I mean, they're basically the same guitars. So anyway, this was the old Pro Series Jackson DK2M, and these have been discontinued for a while. I think they stopped making them in 2008 or 2009. For the longest time, this one actually was Jackson's top seller. So there's tons of these. There's literally there's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. In Pittsburgh right now, there's 4 on Craigslist. I think there's 4 right now, and that's just the maple fingerboarded one. There's also just the DK2, which had the rosewood fingerboard, also had a ton of different finishes. Same pick, or can't remember if it was same pickups or if it was hum single single. Might have been the humbucker single single coil. But anyway, pretty much also the same guitar, but also same thing, discontinued around 2009. There's thousands of them. They're everywhere. Basically, if somebody has a Jackson guitar, most likely that's what they have. So anyway, there's 4 of these on Craigslist right now. The only difference between this one and the $900, well, the only difference is between this one and the $900 brand new one is the brand new one has the new 3-bolt. This is the old 4-bolt block method, which, to be honest with you, I don't mind the 4-bolt block method. I think it's cool. It's very classic, and it doesn't really get in my way when I play. You know, you might feel differently, but it is what it is. And this one has the Jackson branded Floyd, as opposed to the new ones that have the original Floyd Roses. So, but the difference in price is going to be tremendous. I think these are going right now on Craigslist for about $350. But I've seen them as low as $250 if somebody really wants to get rid of it. And I mean, they just sound great. I mean, I use this a lot for practice. This one I actually got a little cheaper because it had some dings in it. I filled them in and tried to paint over them, but the finish had already kind of yellowed a little bit, so the white sort of stands out. I don't know if you can tell on the video or not. YouTube will probably compress the crap out of it, and you won't be able to see it anyway, which is good. I mean, I guess that's the point, right? But so I had to fill in some of that stuff. The bridge was kind of gunky. The thing about these bridges is, and I think the reason they stopped using them and switched over was because they kind of like, they corroded. If you were like a sweaty, corrody kind of guy, I've seen a lot of them with rusted out bridges. This one was pretty good. The bridge wasn't too bad. I had to brush some gunk out of it, but it wasn't bad. Needed a new locking nut, but I took care of that. That was easy. I think I only paid $250 for this one, but like I said, I upgraded a few things and I fixed some of the stuff that was wrong with it. Needed a good setup too, but now it's plays like a dream. It sounds great. Pickups sound great. So I mean, it's not, you know, I probably paid $250 for it. I think I put in, you know, maybe another $30 or $40 into it and saved myself what it would have been nice and clean, you know, used. So if you know what you're doing, you can go used and you can save a good bit of money if you're looking for something that everybody has. Like I said, at one point this was Jackson's most popular model, so there's thousands and thousands of these out there. But I have another Jackson that I got used. I have a SL SMG. It was a pretty popular model, but not a lot of people want to get rid of them because they're awesome. So I think they were $900 brand new. I think they may have ended at like $1,100, like right when they got discontinued. But they're $900 brand new. You know, I mean, they're going for $600 or $650 used, which isn't a very big savings. And for $600 or $650, I mean, you can buy a new guitar that somebody hasn't played for, you know, 5 years. So you have to think about that too, because you know, when you play guitar, when you buy a used guitar, you're gonna wear in the frets a little bit. It's just how it works. So I mean, you figure you're gonna get brand new frets, a brand new guitar, something unplayed. So you know, take your chances used, but if you get a chance, but always play it before you buy it used, or at least know what you're getting and have played one before. Another nice thing to do used, I always find Guitar Center is a great resource for used stuff like that. Very rarely do I ever buy anything new at Guitar Center because all their new guitars on the floor are essentially used because everybody and their brothers come in and picked it up and touched it and played with it. So it's not really, you know, I'm not a big fan of how they do their new stuff, but their used stuff, not only do they have a lot of that stuff heavily discounted because, you know, it's Guitar Center, they got to get rid of that stuff and keep it moving, but you have access online to every Guitar Center in the United States' used section, and they'll ship them between stores, usually for not very much, and just, I mean, you can get essentially whatever you want. Basically any model from any point in time, Guitar Center probably has it used somewhere. The Hollywood, California one seems to have a ton of cool used stuff. A lot of it's kind of pricey though. But if it's something discontinued you want, Guitar Center, look online, guitarcenter.com. Just click their used stuff and figure out what it is you want. It's a pretty good bet that somebody somewhere will have one used, if it's not brand new. So that's my suggestion on that. Now, if you're saying, well, I don't really know what I want. I know I want a few more guitars and I want to get some guitars, but I don't really know what to get. I don't know what's good. I don't know where to start, even where to start looking. Use the internet. Do some research. Like I've already mentioned, Musician's Friend, Sweetwater, and Guitar Center. Their sites are great. You can get an idea for what specs cost, like, so you can figure out in your head, all right, if I want an ebony fingerboard, neck through, Floyd Rose with either EMG or Seymour Duncan or DiMarzio pickups, name brand pickups, you can figure you're going to spend between $700 and $1,000 for something imported, but that's probably like a Pro Series or something like that, one of their top of the lines. I would recommend. I'm going to recommend everything made by Fender Musical Instrument Corporation. You can really get just about anything from that. Fender owns Fender, obviously. They own Jackson and they own Charvel. I believe they also own Gretsch too. Now that I think about it, but Fender, Jackson, Charvel, Gretsch, and then they also have EVH. They also own EVH. So anything branded EVH, Eddie Van Halen stuff, that's also comes through Fender, except for the EVH wah and pedals. Those are Dunlop. Get Dunlop stuff though too. Dunlop is awesome. So anyway, Fender stuff is all good. I own all Fender stuff. Well, I don't own anything Fender. I own Jacksons and Charvels, and they're all phenomenal. Just, I mean, I can't. They've never broken down on me once. They're, solid instruments. They're priced really well. So anyway, I would say start with one of the major brands. So Fender, if you're into that kind of stuff, which is the longer scale 25.5, Super Strats, and the pointy Jackson shapes, and I think whatever the Charvel shapes, the Star, and the other like Super Strats and whatever. Figure out what you want and what it costs to get something spec like that. For instance, so say you want outer body, maple neck, say ebony fingerboard or maple fingerboard, name brand pickups and a Floyd. You're going to spend between $700 and $900. So look at everything in that range of guitars, between $700 and $900. Figure out what you like the most. So let's say you're looking at all that stuff, and what you want in that range is the Dinky Pro Series. Let's say say okay, that comes in the color I want. It's got all the specs that I want. It's got the pickups I want, and I really love the way that looks. I want that one. So look at it, and then wait. Keep an eye on it. Look every day. At some point, either it's going to get discontinued. There's going to be a scratch and dent model. There's going to be a used model. Used on Musician's Friend is different than used at Guitar Center. Used on Musician's Friend means somebody dropped it and scuffed it or scratched it. If you don't mind having a little scratch or maybe a little scuff somewhere, or maybe just an imperfection on the guitar, say maybe there's a scratch on the pickup ring or something. I've had a lot of luck with those. Very rarely can I even find what the imperfection is, but they have to sell it that way because it didn't come perfectly, which is Musician's Friend discounts things pretty heavily for something like that. For instance, I got a Jackson, one of the new RRT, one of the new Pro Series RRT, the Silverburst one with the set bridge. I think they're $800 brand new. It's neck through, ebony board, EMG, 81, 89, and the 89's coil tapped. Just awesome guitar. I'm actually playing it in one of our videos. I'll link it below. But it's something that should go for it's a $900 guitar easily. Just picking it up, touching it, playing it. It's a $900 guitar. I think I got it for $420 because there's a scratch on the upper fin. you're going to do that to pointy guitars. That's just how it happens. But because of that scratch on the upper fin, which I painted over, it was a gloss. I have a gloss black acrylic paint. Painted it, filled it in, painted over it. You'd never notice unless you were looking for it. You won't be able to tell in the video I linked below. But I mean, I saved, God, $370 on it because of that, and I wouldn't have bought it otherwise. But I mean, it was discounted so heavily. It was like, yeah, I need that. So I actually sold a couple guitars that I wasn't playing at the time. Picked that up, and it's been, it's been a show guitar since it showed up. I think it's played 2 or 3 shows. It's in a couple videos. Like I said, I'll link the video below. So I mean, it's really just been good stuff, and you can get a lot of good stuff like that if you're patient and you wait, and just figure out how what you want, and then wait for it to come available. So that's the thing. Figure out what you want, set your budget, wait for it to see if it's going to discount. Sometimes it's not going to discount, but like I said, you've always got the option of financing. Helps your credit too. If you need help, if you need some help on your credit, it's probably a great thing to do because you have a couple new guitars and you're building your credit at the same time. Really recommend if you're like a college student or something, finance a couple of guitars. Play them a bunch. You're at college, you have a lot of time. Finance them, play them, build your credit up. Even a college student, $20 or $30 a month shouldn't be hard to come by. So that's my suggestions. That's my recommendation. If you have any questions, please, questions, comments, everything in the comments, and subscribe to my video. And check out the links in the comments also. I'll put links up to Musician's Friend and Sweetwater and Guitar Center, and if you need them, and a couple links to my band and some videos. So like me, like my band, Last Will, and leave comments if you have any questions. I'll try to get to all the questions as I can, even if they end up being a couple months down the road. But peace out.